Hello, otakus and pre-mids of the internet! Dr. Anime here. After a great first episode wherein we learned about how Naruto explains the paradox of sex, natural selection, and lateral gene transfer, let's take a step back from the educational for a moment to discuss a subject not only near and dear to my heart, but also is the crux of everything that is on this channel: anime. Now, while I am the kind of person to provide background before delving into a subject, explaining what is and isn't anime, well, let's just say that certain YouTubers have explored the finer details of anime far more than could be contained in this one video. So, I'll just leave a link in the description to those videos and let you watch them first. Don't worry, I'll wait. Finished? Good! So how did the one and only Dr. Anime get into anime himself? Well, it all started way before college, and even before I had become serious about becoming a doctor. Now, picture the most stereotypical anime rivalry pair, sort of along the lines of Deku and Bakugo or Asta and Yuno. In 8th grade, my friend David and I essentially had that sort of rivalry. Whether it was who could answer math problems correctly the fastest, winning our school's spelling bee, spoilers, I lost, and asking the exact same person out to the school dance. And that one's a story for another day. So, after another normal day of narrowly beating him in some random math problem, David and I had been talking about different shows we watched. All of a sudden, David asked if I'd ever heard of a show called Naruto. After I had said no, David then went on into an enthusiastic description of the show, which, unfortunately for me, at first made me not want to watch it. He was all like, it's about how this kid has a fox demon inside of him and then he becomes one of the strongest people in his village. You really need to watch it, man. Now, being the innocent, impressionable sap I was back then, if someone had told me about a kid who had a demon inside of him, I would have imagined this rather than this. So the conversation turned to other things and I forgot the whole description. Now, flash forward to the summer before freshman year, at which point I was absolutely bored out of my mind. Who knows what prompted my memory, but that day I looked up Naruto episode 1 and began watching. And promptly stopped after a couple of episodes. You see, while Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece were the big three in the de facto gateway anime in their heyday, I would say that there are better anime nowadays to introduce people to the medium. I'm not saying Naruto was that bad, it's just that fan service in anime is always an acquired taste, so to speak. And for young me, seeing the sexy jutsu scene in the first episode had me looking over my shoulder every so often, just to make sure no one discovered me watching it at some inopportune moment. That's one of the only downsides of anime, really. The fact that so many screenshots from a show can be taken out of context extremely easily. Of course, simple fan service ultimately did not deter this anime fan, and I eventually finished Naruto and most of Naruto Shippuden. And man, looking back on it, it's a really good show. The different jutsus keep the fight scenes continuously intense and fresh. The characters, though over the top in typical anime style, still felt human enough that I could connect with them. By the way, rest in peace, Jiraiya. You were the best perverted Obi-Wan character archetype in the history of anime. And the world building was phenomenal, always making you want to learn more about the ninja world. More importantly, the story of how a child who was the social pariah of a village of people with powerful abilities because of a demon within him, becomes a hero by working hard, overcoming his limits, trusting his friends, and ultimately controlling the very power everyone was afraid of. It contains a powerful message of self-efficacy, free will, and the ability to overcome society's expectations. As someone who had to study constantly to become valedictorian, even going so far as to take 7 honors/AP classes in my junior year of high school, shonen anime and their messages of pushing yourself beyond your limits really spoke to me. And I'm not embarrassed to say that I watched anime during the majority of my free time during those hectic periods of my life. Now, while it is a pretty good show, Naruto suffers from slow pacing and filler episodes that tend to obscure its themes from time to time, which is why the newer generation of shonen anime, such as My Hero Academia and Black Clover, do these themes more justice. But is this all that anime has to offer? Not even close, as demonstrated by my future forays in anime during my sophomore and junior years of college. Given my love of heroes who surpass their limits and go beyond, you might guess that the next anime I ever saw was another shonen, full of heart-pounding action, do-or-die situations, and epic quests. Oh yeah, no, it was Chobits. Yeah. For those unfamiliar with Chobits, it's a show set in the distant future, where a lonely man finds a female robot on the street and takes her home with him. While sounding like a terrible premise, the show developed into an interesting love story that delved into the ramifications of sentient AI. While Chobits certainly couldn't be called a stereotypical anime, it does display the capabilities of the medium, and why I became a huge fan. In the first few episodes, the show is chock full of comedy, from misunderstandings to more risque jokes. However, throughout the series, there were always lulls in which serious topics were explored. For example, there was a rich boy with a female robot that has his memories of his dead sister, in order that she may provide some closure to the tragedy. This sort of storytelling really is where I think anime shines, bouncing from comedy to tragedy, from laughter to discussing difficult subjects. In some shows, the situation can go from 0 to 100 real quick. Oh, and watch anime for world building. Definitely world building. Only in anime could you have plots like a world where fighting in World War II era tanks becomes a high school sport, or famous people from different time periods duke it out. So for those who are interested in anime, take some time to do some research. There is an anime for almost everything under the sun. An anime about volleyball that will have you yelling about how awesome liberos are after a few episodes? Haikyuu. A show about medieval economics, drama, and romance? Spice and Wolf. A comedy about music majors in Japan working toward their respective dreams? Nodame Cantabile. Or for the more tragic high school version, Your Lie in April. As for my own recommendation for viewers, I would suggest one of my all-time favorite shows, The Devil is a Part-Timer. Don't worry, he's not the actual devil. Essentially, the Demon King in a fantasy world escapes death from the hero through a wormhole, and ends up working at a McDonald's in Japan. How does this happen? Well, you'll just have to watch it and see for yourself. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you all like these kinds of videos, let me know in the comments section below. As I previously mentioned, we will return to our regularly scheduled educational anime videos next month, exploring and action potentials. Until then, please like and subscribe, and remember, this is in fact not a pigeon. Thanks for watching, everybody!